Round 4 ends. Ilia Topuria's right eye is swollen shut. He talks his way past the doctor once, but he doesn't get a second chance. Then his own corner throws in the towel. 17 fights, 0 losses, gone on a stool on the White House lawn. The entire sport reacts the same way. Shock. Nobody saw this coming, but one man did. 13 months earlier, he had already said something that explains exactly why this happened, and his name is Jon Jones. My name is Omar, and this is the BLM. Today we're looking at how Ilia Topuria unknowingly proved Jon Jones right, not with a lucky guess, but with a warning Jones could only have made because he'd already lived through it himself. Let's be precise about what Jones actually said. But firstly, to understand why this shocked an entire sport, you have to understand exactly what Topuria had done to get here. Alec champion in UFC history, max title defense. Charles Oliveira finished in the first round for the vacant lightweight belt. 2 divisions, 3 legends removed, and undefeated. Betting markets didn't just favor him against Gaethia. They treated it like a formality. This wasn't a coin flip that happened to land wrong. This was supposed to be a coronation, but what most people watching didn't see was everything happening around that undefeated record in the year leading up to it. The biggest fight available to him, Islam Makhachev, a shot at becoming the UFC's first 3-division champion, collapsed. Topuria's side wanted $20 million to make it happen. The number wasn't met. The fight disappeared. Around the same stretch, his marriage ended. Quietly, during the exact window, he was supposed to be building the greatest run the sport had ever seen. None of it was a scandal by itself. It just sat there in the background, while the win streak kept it from ever becoming its own headline. Almost nobody built a story around the other side of that cage either. Then, at the other side, we have Justin Gaethje. He is 37 years old. He's been finished by 2 of the greatest lightweights ever to fight, Khabib, Oliveira, and had said more than once that a loss like that again might be the one that ends his career. 2 interim titles, never undisputed gold. This was his 3rd real run at it. Before the fight, Ilia posted a promo showing a white rose laid on a coffin with Justin's name on it. Justin answered by bringing up Ilia's divorce on camera. Then the bell rang. 13 months before any of this happened, a reporter asked UFC legend Jon Jones a simple question about Ilia's rise. His answer wasn't really about Ilia's skill at all.
Ilia too, like, bro, do you think anybody has an answer for that guy?
I say time will tell. One thing that I know from experience, just being in the sport for so long, that it's difficult to win the belt. It's more difficult to live the lifestyle of a UFC champion and continue being a UFC champion. The fame and the press and the money and the girls and the alcohol and all of it, it doubles down on you. And very few people can handle it. So yeah. I actually do wish Elias all the support in the world. I know he has a great fan.
That was Jon Jones, not a rival. A man who's held UFC gold longer than almost anyone alive. Here's the part that turns this from a generic warning into something else entirely. Jones wasn't describing a theory. He was describing his own record. Multiple failed drug tests that cost him fights and stripped him of championship time. A hit-and-run arrest that cost him a title and endorsements. Suspensions that took him out of the sport during what should have been the prime years of his career.
Yeah, thank you. My fault. A black man can't drink. Getting elected into the Hall of Fame, and now this is what I got. What's that? Do you officers? I hate you. I hate you.
Years later, asked what he regrets most about his own career, Jones didn't hesitate. Not a loss, but the hit and run and a title fight that got canceled because of what he put in his own body beforehand. Those, in his own words, are the 2 things he wishes he could take back the most. He wasn't warning Topuria as an outsider watching a pattern from a distance. He was recognizing it because he'd already lived it. Already lost time and money and years to it himself. That's not a guess about fame being hard. That's someone showing you the scar first. But to understand exactly what stage this was about to fall apart on, this wasn't a regular card in Las Vegas. This was the first time in the sport's history the UFC fought on the White House lawn, a temporary 5,000-seat structure built for one night, marking the 250th anniversary of the country itself. 17 million people watched. Commentator Joe Rogan, calling it live, would describe it as one of the biggest upsets in the history of the sport.
The main event was the greatest fight of all time. It literally was the greatest fight of all time. because the guy that won it, Justin Gaethje, was in many books 6-1 favorite, or 6-1 underdog rather, which is crazy odds for a guy that was a interim lightweight champion, fought the best of the best, one of the best to ever do it, BMF champion. I mean, just super durable, real dangerous guy. And that's how good Ilia Topuria is.
This is the moment it happened. Round 1 is close, feeling outwork. Round 2 is exactly what 6-1 odds are supposed to look like. Ilia cuts off the cage, drops Justin with a body shot, hunts a finish on the ground. For 5 minutes, everyone who called this a coronation looks right. Round 3, he comes out rebuilt. A combination drops Ilia, and Justin doesn't let him reset for the rest of the round. Between rounds 3 and 4, a doctor considers stopping it right there. Ilia talks his way into one more round and largely wins it. By the final tally, he actually outlands Justin for the whole fight. Every judge still has Justin ahead, 39-37. Because what round 3 did to his face outweighs the stat sheet. But when the horn sounds to end round 4, it isn't the doctor, and it isn't the referee who ends it. It's his own brother, standing in the corner that is making a call none of them ever had to make before. This wasn't Ilia's technique failing by output. He was arguably winning the fight. What failed was something that had never been tested in 17 fights, and it cost him everything that undefeated record was worth. The belt, the leverage instead of begging for one. Overnight, the most feared name in the sport becomes a man who has to rebuild, starting with a rematch he now has to ask for instead of dictate. Across the cage, Justin, the man who said another bad loss might end his career, is doing a backflip off the top of it. The crowd breaks into chants. Minutes later, he's shaking hands with the president himself, the same lawn where Topuria was supposed to be crowned instead. Topuria doesn't get interviewed after the fight. He gets sent straight to the hospital. Dana White tells the room he thinks Topuria's eye is broken, that there's no talk of a next fight, only rest.
I'm not a doctor, but his eye looked like he probably has broken orbital. Plans for him are to go home and rest and recover and take his time. And tonight was a rough night for him.
A day later, Topuria posts something himself. No excuses. He says Gaethje promised to leave a mark on his face, and he did. Took the sight in his right eye in the first round, his left by the end of the second. Calls it one of the best camps of his career anyway. Promises a rematch. It's the same instinct Jones later credits him for, not blaming the moment, but naming it honestly. Topuria says it about himself, less than a day after leaving the cage. Jones didn't say any of this to be cruel. He was naming a pattern he knew from the inside. Whether that pattern is what actually cost Ilia this specific fight, nobody can say with certainty. Fights turn on inches or a single round that goes the wrong way. But the pieces Jones named, the collapsed superfight over money, the marriage that ended mid-run, 17 wins that never once forced him to answer for a plan gone wrong, were all sitting there, exactly as described, before anyone thought to connect them. Jones knew, because it had already happened to him once. The difference is what came after. For him, Jones didn't stay the man who threw away his prime years to money and chaos. He came back, cleaned up the parts of his life he could control, and closed his career out as one of the greatest to ever step in the cage. Heavyweight gold added to the list on his own terms, years after his lowest points. The warning he gave Ilia wasn't just a diagnosis. It was proof the same story can end two different ways, depending on what a champion does with the fall.